Are you looking to be a new you in 22? Or how about a better you? Or how about a transformed you? Well, this is a verse that you should memorize if you're looking to be a transformed you in 22. So this is Romans 12, 1 and 2. Therefore, I urge you, brothers, in view of God's mercy, to offer your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and pleasing to God. This is your spiritual act of worship. Do not conform any longer to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, his good, pleasing, and perfect will. Now I'm going to read to you what my Bible notes say, because I really like it. God has good, pleasing, and perfect plans for his children. He wants us to be transformed people with renewed minds, living to honor and obey him. Because he wants only what is best for us, and because he gave his son to make our new lives possible, we should joyfully give ourselves as living sacrifices for his service. Christians are called not to conform any longer to the pattern of this world, with its behavior and customs that are usually selfish and often corrupting. Many Christians wisely decide that much worldly behavior is off limits for them. Our refusal to conform to this world's values, however, must go even deeper than the level of our behavior and customs. It must be firmly planted in our minds. Be transformed by the renewing of your mind. It is possible to avoid most worldly customs and still be proud, covetous, selfish, stubborn, and arrogant. Only when the Holy Spirit renews, re-educates, and redirects our minds are we truly transformed. So, this is one of the first Bible verses I memorized with my kids, and we used to do it in song. So we used to sing it like this. If this wants to help you, I'm not a singer by any means, but we would say, I ask you, brothers, by the mercies of God, to give your bodies as a sacrifice, holy and acceptable to God, which is your worship. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind, that by testing you might know the will of God, which is good, acceptable, and perfect. Romans 12, 1, 2. All right, so that's how we memorized many, many verses when my kids were little. So hopefully that will help you. And now that muscle that needs to be transformed and renewed is your glute maximus, okay? Your glute maximus is a weak muscle that shouldn't be weak because it's our biggest prime mover of our body. And when we have tight quads, that means our quads are taken over for our glutes. And one of the best things we could do for that is a bridge or a hip thrust. But we're going to start this move with our stability ball, because that's where all of our corrective exercises a lot of times start, is on our stability ball. So we're going to start by sitting on the ball, walking ourselves forward, okay, and then you're going to be in a bridge. Now, through studying over the years, I found that it's best to keep your bridge or your hip thrust with your chin tucked to your chest the whole time. You're going to lower down and squeeze your glutes to bring yourself up to a tabletop. And then lower down and squeeze and exhale. Now, this is the problems I see a lot of times with this move. People want to rock forward and back. So it's not a rock forward and back movement. It's take it straight down and straight up. And you also want to make sure that your knees and your toes are facing forward, your feet are hip distance apart, and your knees don't cave in on the way down or the way up. You want your knees to be facing forward. All right. Another thing I see is people will come and bring themselves all the way down, and they'll roll like this and roll back and roll like this. But when you roll back like that, you're taking all the work away from your glutes. That's why the experts say that you keep your chin tucked, you bring it down and squeeze up. You'll get a much bigger squeeze of those glutes, right? Like here and down, and also your hamstrings. So a lot of times if your quads are dominant, your hamstrings are weak. So this hip thrust or glute bridge is good for strengthening your glute maximus and your hamstrings and your core, because we're on a stability ball. So most stability ball exercises you should do for 15 reps. You should do them slow, just like I was doing them. And you can work yourself up to 3 sets, starting with 1 set. Now this is a move that will transform your booty. You cannot transform your glutes without some sort of bridge or hip thrust. And it all starts here on the ball, and you work your way up to a barbell and a bench. But that will be on later videos. So tomorrow I will bring you another weak muscle that we need to strengthen. See you then. Thanks for joining me. Bye-bye.